Well, CHAZZ Palminteri, in Diabolique, you have an interesting problem. Two women in your lives, but as it turns out, rather dangerous women, if you would care to extrapolate for a moment.
Well,
I'll let you handle this.
Okay. Well, I'm married to Isabel Johnny in the movie, and my mistress is Sharon Stone, and they both know about each other. That's because they can't really, do anything about it. I say, look, this is the way it is, and that's it. Guy Baran, he's a type of character. He's a borderline sociopath, probably. He's a very nasty. He's probably the purest villain I've ever played. So it was a character that I really wanted to really go for it. But the hard thing about him was to make him somewhat charming, because you had to understand why these women were so mesmerized by this man, and they could not leave him. And then after a while, they get tired of my ways, and then they can't leave me because they're sexually connected to me. So what they do is they decide to kill me.
And there's so much left to tell, which we
So much
won't.
left to tell.
But Diabolique is one of those kinds of thrillers that we could lump into a category known as when surface.
Right.
Let's leave it at that. But it's a peculiar kind of suspense because
Right.
we all of us have guilts and secrets. Doesn't have to be a body in a bathtub.
Right.
But lots of things can surface. Maybe that's part of the appeal of such a story.
It's one of those classic stories, you know, like the mistress and the wife turn the tables on the husband and plot to kill him. I mean, it goes down through time over and over again, but we always get intrigued by it because when that happens, you never know who's going to really commit to it, who's going to give in, who's going to, a secret is not a secret if more than one person knows it. I've always said that, so when there's three people involved, you never know who's really telling the truth.
And you know a thing or two about telling stories. When a lot of us first saw you in Bronx Tale, we didn't immediately know that you'd written the darn thing too.
Right.
What was that like on stage as a one-man show?
I've always said that was probably the most rewarding experience I've ever had creatively as an artist, to perform on stage for an hour and 40 minutes alone and do Bronx Tale by myself on stage.
Well, did you have different characters? Did you narrate a story?
I did the narration and I played all the characters with
Wow.
no props, just done in lights, just done with using lights and different accents.
And had it occurred to you at the time that acting as well as writing would start to hold center stage for you, or was that part of your agenda all along?
Well, I was an actor first and the writer second. And then at that time, then when my writing career just took off, then it became like actor and writer together.
With a lot of independent filmmaking productions going on, though, is it ever more important that an actor be able to write?
I think so. I mean, I think your acting, see with me, my acting serves my writing serves my acting. Like recently, and I'm going to be doing a romantic comedy, I really wanted to do one, and I was reading some, and I wasn't being offered any that I really liked. So I just said, well, you know what, I'll just write my own, and I did. And now I'm going to be starring in a movie that I've written called Dante and the Debutante that I'm going to direct too, for New Line. So it helps, and I help getting made by being in it. So one serves the other.
I guess it's no accident that Dante is also the name of your little boy.
Of my son, yes. Yes.
Any secrets yet to come from CHAZZ Palminteri that might surface ere long? That is, any stories in the trunk, roles to come that will show us different facets of you?
Well, I really always wanted to play a priest.
Right.
And so I just can't seem to get the story yet. But sooner or later, I'm going to get that story. I have it in my head, and it's like a half a story, but I just can't seem to nail it down. And when I do, I want to play a priest very badly.
Well, you're halfway there in your dress. All you need is the collar.
Is the white collar, right.
At this
right.
point. Are you a fan of suspense stories in general? Is this a kick to be in?
Oh, I mean, Psycho and the Hitchcock thrillers. Those are great movies,
Because it seems like you've had more than your share. And, of course, I'm
Right.
thinking about Usual Suspects as
Right.
well.
Well, because some of them could be very well written. And when you have one that's very well written, it's like a puzzle that you have to piece it together, and it's always ahead of the audience. And as long as you stay ahead of the audience, they'll sit there and watch.
But finally, the lighter comic touch in something like The Perez Family is a nice surprise.
Oh, thank you very much. I really love that movie, The Perez Family. I like doing things that are different, So I'll always continue to go back between something that's dramatic and something that's comedic.
Well, I guess in conclusion, I just have to warn everyone that although we see you get knocked off, just wait. Wait for the body to surface.
Okay.
CHAZZ Palminteri is my guest. We're in New York City talking about Diabolique. I'm John Tibbetts for KCTV5.